Okay, I think we're live. Awesome. So what happened last streaming, we created this environment. So if you're curious about how I go on creating environments like this, just take a look at that one. It's on the live stream sections, okay? Um, we're gonna continue working on this. There are a few things that I want to change, other things that I want to add. Overall, this is a very natural process. So if things are looking bad at the beginning, don't worry. It's part of the process. So I'm gonna guide you step by step on how I make these environments. Usually, as you may know, I record them and then I teach you step by step how to do it. But there is a lot of troubleshooting behind. So let's go through this troubleshooting together because it's also very rewarding to encounter these types of problems, and then by showing you exactly what kind of problem I can have, then you will be able to spot in your own projects what kind of problems you have to and how you will know how to fix them. Okay, so a couple of things here. I'm not a super fan of these textures. Maybe this one it's okay, but I feel like I want to change some of them. So what I have done is just to download some of these assets, and I will just check if I can just change one of those to see how my environment changed. Before doing that, I want to paint a little bit, because actually painting helps a lot in the process. So let me just take the brush like this, and then I can just go and have like the rock layer here, and I can have another rock layer here, and then I can have this layer, small little rocks here. I can put it here, which is nice. Like I can put the small rocks here, and they're not the same color, so that's something we may want to change. But as soon as you do that, your environment will start looking a little bit better. So I will just start painting here a little bit. If you got any questions, just let me know. I will check the chat from time to time. I'm checking it the whole time, actually. It's just that if I check the chat all the time and I answer your questions, then the environment will never be finished. So just keep that in mind. I also want to finish this. I'm not a big fan of making environments, so the earlier I finish this one, happier I will be. Okay, let's try to import some textures and see how our environment change. So let's go here to the live stream, and we have our landscape here. We could just change the material instance, because we have the from L1 to L5, just like I recommend you, do not name this like ground or rock or whatever, because in the future, if you want to change those, you will find like the layer named rock, and you have grass here, and it's gonna be really confusing. I've seen this a lot. So let's just go here. Maybe we can try to change maybe the layer 3. Layer 3 looks like a good candidate to change, so I'm gonna put this one here. I'm gonna start putting all the textures that I'm missing, just to check how it will look like. Okay, so I can try painting here. It's always a good idea, just try to paint something if you're curious. I like the shapes that this material gives. I like it a lot. So I think I want to keep it. I'm just gonna paint here. And remember, paint in the layer, the base layer, otherwise you're gonna have troubles with adding layers, painting on top of another, and it's just gonna be very, very messy. Thing like that. I can also paint here. Yeah, I feel like it's okay. We can try to change the other rock. I believe it's layer 2. Let me check. Not layer 2. Actually, layer 2 and layer 5 are kind of similar. Very similar, actually. So if I go layer 5 here, and I go layer 2, you will see that layer 2 is... it's kind of similar. It just have a different tone, but talking about shapes is just small circles, right? So I already have this shape. Let's try to look for another one. So maybe this one, or maybe this one here, the Hawaiian lava stone can be a good choice. So let's change layer 2. Let's put it here. We can just go here and go to the mega scans, go to the surfaces, and then just find the right one. Okay. Oh, there you go. Much better. So I can just paint here. And I also can paint here, like some of this. Nice. Okay. Just keep painting a little bit here and there. Painting actually helps a lot. The more you paint, the more variation you will have in your environment. So just keep that in mind. It's nice, we can blend between these two assets really nicely with the height blend we create before. Okay. So talking composition wise, it's kind of boring. So I'm gonna create some man-made elements here. You have seen me doing this countless of times, but it's quite a common operation to do. So if I go to my assets, I will see if I have some wood here. See, here's some wood and something. That's too narrow. Not this one. And by the way, if you want to create something better, actually, let's just go here and just put this one like this. Or I don't actually not like this, because the shadow that is creating here, I don't like it that much. But I can go for something like this, very subtle. Yeah, something like that. And also I can do the same here. I can just go here and do the same asset. This time I will put my local coordinates I already had. I will just I can blend it like this, and later on we will take a we will fix the colors, but for now just try to put it in position and try to look for interesting shadows. So what I'm trying to do here is just trying to look for a shadow that makes my environment more interesting, but at the same time it doesn't distract me from my focal point, which apparently it should be something around here, because I have this line here, I have this line, and I have this line. It makes sense for me to put my focal point in this area. So let's add some wood. I believe I have some here. This one should be fine. And let's play from here to check the size of the wood. Yeah, it's very small. So one thing I'm gonna do is to first create a cube. I'm gonna create something with 200, something like that. Maybe from width you could try 300. Not width, sorry. Depth. Or maybe something like this. Yeah, something like this. And I'm gonna put the height to 20. I'm gonna put align to normal off, so it's always flat on the floor. And I feel this can be like a good asset. Let me just go from to 500. So for that, accept. And let's play from here. Yeah, it looks like a nice size for my wooden surface. So what I'm gonna do is to just grab one of this. Just place it like this. I can just put it up. Just like that. Let's grab another ones here. Grab this one. Let's duplicate those. Eventually we will replace them, so don't worry. Let's grab another one. Yeah, something like that. Let's grab another one. 4 should be more than enough. But maybe I want something with different colors, so let me see if I have something different. This one, yeah, I could use this one. I could. But actually I'm gonna use it somewhere else. This one, yeah, I could try. It's nice to have some variations here. If it doesn't work, I will just change this. But in any case, I will just go here and rotate this while I'm holding Alt. I will make a duplicate. I will just put it here. And now I will move it up. And just like that, I'm starting to create some different patterns. Like this one, for example. And let me just close this and I will show you how to make this one look nicer. Okay, we just rotate this around. I just made a perfect 180 degrees without the snapping. That never happened in my life. Okay, so now that I have this, these are my measurements. So what I'm seeing here are patterns. So if you take a look at this wood plank, all the patterns are like this. And if you take a close look, it just looks like lines like this. So what you can do actually is to have some variation in these parts. Like for example, some of them go diagonal, some of them mostly horizontal. You want to keep the same pattern. And then maybe you can have something that goes like this and then keep horizontal, and some of them like this. And this pattern is much more interesting than this one over here, which is just straight lines. So we're gonna go work on the pattern first, and you can see that as soon as I will do this, you will have more and more variation. So I will delete some of them and I will just rotate. I will rotate a little bit this one, maybe delete this one here and rotate like this for this side. I can maybe delete this one. Maybe I could have something like this, where I put the wood planks on top. And notice that I'm not using the nanite version. I don't really need it. This is already a lot of detail combined. So let's go here and create more patterns. And we can come back here. There you go, something like that. You can see it's starting to look nicer. So let me just delete one of those. And what I can do is just rotate a little bit. And also here, I can just put this thing like this. And now it's very hard to spot the pattern. So this is what makes things interesting. When you see the world in terms of shapes, you will be able to spot what makes something look nice and what something look boring, right? So this is a pro tip I want to share with you. You can use it in any kind. Shapes are everywhere here in the composition, in the big shapes, but also in the small parts. So if you apply this principle to everything you do, you will be able to make your environments much nicer. Okay, so I don't need this anymore. And what I will do is just have some base here. So I will have one of this and put it like this. And because I won't be able to see it, I will just scale it like that. Something like that. Okay. Now I have two options here. I either create like a blueprint I can use and then, you know, just change it on the fly if I want to have like different assets. That's something I can do, but I prefer to reserve those for bigger assets. So this is my module, because if I grab an asset like this and you think, well, Quixel, what do I do with this? Like, really? I need to create a whole village, and I'm not gonna do it plank by plank, right? But you can start creating those modules. So what I will do is just select all of those. Slowly but steady. I will just select all of those. And before I commit to this, I will create a backup. And let me see if I have everything. I don't, so this and this. Now I will create another version. This version will be smaller because maybe I need a smaller wood plank. So I will just delete everything from here. And I will just go back and put this thing like this. And it doesn't hurt me to just duplicate some of this stuff and put it like that. And then some of them, maybe make them tinier, slimmer. Something like that. I could rotate this stuff just so that it's not entirely the same. You won't notice when we add more and more stuff. Just keep in mind you want to keep most of them in the same line, like horizontal. You can have some of those vertical, but if you have something like this, like the vertical lines that way, it may mean that the player needs to go that way, right? Or maybe it has a different shape language. Maybe you want to use it for walls, and for things that you can walk, you want to use the horizontal ones. Then you want to keep the pattern there, but you don't want to make it like super obvious. Okay, there you go. So I have two of them. Maybe I will need to create another one. So I will just select all of those again. Let me see if I have everything. I always like this one. Okay, so now I will go here and applicate this one. And what I will do is just rotate things around, delete some of them, put it like this. Maybe this one I can put like that. Too much. Or maybe I can just move this one here. And this one I can rotate. I can move it there. I can go here and rotate these things a little bit. I can also go here and duplicate some of those, and I can go very wild with this one, and just go like this, and I can just move these things around and just have different patterns. Then here I can just make this one thinner. This one maybe I can rotate 180 degrees. Now, if you're asking why I don't use the snapping options, is because I don't want to. I want things to look more natural, and I find that if I do that, then all the things will look like a snap, and this kind of stuff really helps. So let's go here and let's just put a pivot point in position. So let's grab all of this. And I'm going to create a new asset based on this one. Now let's see if I have everything. I do. So what I will do is go to my modeling mode. And then I will go to merge. I will write a new object. Yes. Wood planks 01, maybe. Output type, of course, is a static mesh. If you have a dynamic mesh, it will create a dynamic mesh, but by default, it's okay, just leave it like that. Delete inputs. Not yet. I will keep the inputs here, just so that maybe in the future we need to use them. If I go here, you will see that I have my wood plank. Okay, so let me just go ahead and group this. I know it's a little bit annoying, but it will help in the future. Yeah, Control G to group this thing. Now I have my group. I will call it my, let's go for rename. Is there a way to rename this? Oh, you cannot rename groups. That's interesting. Okay. Anyway, let's do the same here. Let's grab all our planks. We got everything. Let's merge. And this time I will delete the inputs. I don't need them. So there you go. Another one here. And then let's go ahead and do the same for this one. And because we use kind of like the same measurements for our wall, and they are kind of like the same length, which is good because this means it's modular parts. So I will create like wood planks 03 accept, and I think this one I should have changed the name, so I Control B and I will put it wood planks 02. Yeah, that should be good enough. Okay. So what can you do with this? Well, you can create different things. For example, you could create like a wall or something. So if I grab this thing and I maybe here, for example, I want a wall, I will put my wall here. You can see it's like you can use it for very different things. You can scale it up if you want, and you can rotate it, and then you can go here and put this one here. Now you will have different walls. Yeah, and you can just go ahead and do something like this, and you will have like a little wall there. Now, one thing I want to do before I start doing something, I will change the pivot point. I will go to modeling, and I will go to pivot, and then I will maybe the left, the back, the front, yeah. Yeah, the back is fine. Front, yes, front. Let's keep it on front, and let's do the same for all of this. Let's go here and change the pivot point, put it on front, and do the same here and put it on front. There you go. So now you will see that this thing also will change. It will change the position. Everyone was like here, and now everything is like offset. So we can just try to put these things like this. Maybe there is like a path. Something like this. And you can see as I can just go ahead and rotate this. And because the pivot point is very easy, I can just rotate this around and easily change the position of these things. So let me just put a wall here. Now you could use your procedural tools if you want to create this wall. We have done that before. Okay. Okay, let's have a little break. I will go through the comments. Okay, let's see. This is really inspiring. Thank you guys. How do you my making modular walls, floor, ceilings, and connecting them for both exterior and interior? Do you clip them through each other, or do you have different variation of sizes? I just did it. It's just that I didn't did it very precisely. If you want something very, very precise, you should model it, and you will use this as a base, and then continue to create your house or whatever. In my experience, you don't need to be too precise because you will add a lot of meshes that add a lot of variety. If it's like concrete or this kind of stuff, it's a must. You need to model this because concrete is like a very flat surface, and you don't want your surface to be like this, for example. Any tips? I will be working on my level soon. Any tips other than the ones you're sharing here? I think I'm already sharing a lot. You can just take a look at the videos, but if you want tips, just take the composition first. Everything at the beginning is very important, so if you do it right, then it's just a matter of putting things together and finish your environment. So just go slowly. There are a couple of things I want to change here that I didn't mention. If I go to my static meshes, you will see if I press Alt C, you will see that I have this type of collision, which is purple. That's not desirable. You don't want to have this. The reason is you are putting each polygon as the collision of the mesh, and that's not good. It's good for prototyping because you don't have many polygons. Like, for example, this box here, it really doesn't matter. But if you want to create a playable environment, you need to change the collision of this. In my case, I will just go here and type in search complex, go to project default, and now I won't have the collision. If I go here, oh, this one I'm not using. So if I grab this thing here, you will see that I have no collision. So how can I replace it? You can either put apply here for convex collision, and that's okay. You could do it that way, or you can also make a box to have like very precise collision. In my case, I may go for the convex collision, so I will do the same for this. Type complex, put project default, and then put apply. And it will kind of like create an envelope for my mesh. And I will do the same for this one. I can put complex, remove, and then put apply. And then I will just have a very simple collision for my mesh, which is good. Hey, let's just delete those. We don't need to have the collision here. So I had an idea before making the live stream, and I don't know if it will work, but it worked showing off. I wanted to create a bridge using only procedural tools, and I will have this mesh as my base and some others for, you know, decorating the bridge or wherever. So let's do this. In my mind it worked. I don't know if it's gonna work on the stream, but in my mind it already worked. So if I go to plugins, go to procedural, you will see that you have a procedural content generation framework. I already have it on. If you don't, just click here and you will restart the editor and you will have it. So what I will do is to create a bridge based on Spline. If you didn't come the last live stream, I created this blueprint here where what I just did was just to add a spline, just like this. Spline, not spline mesh or anything, just a spline. And in self, I put this as a spawner. Now I will put another blueprint for this because I will duplicate this and call it PP, I don't know, bridge spline. There you go. And I will put it here. And by default, because the tag is named on actor, I will have the procedural stuff I created before. So if you check the spline, I can just go ahead and do something like this. And I don't want that, so I will just change this. And actually, I don't really need to create another blueprint, but just in case, I will change this bridge spline, the tag. The tag, I will change it to spawner to bridge spawner. This will be my tag, and you will see that nothing shows now. Now, if I go here, I can move this thing up. Let me just move this here and maybe put something like this, and there you go. So let's create our procedural component. Just right click, PCG, PCG graph, and let's call it PCG bridge. And then here, now we have a tutorial on how to make this from scratch. I don't need to do this again, but in general, let's go through it. You have a bunch of nodes you can use. You got your inputs, which are these ones. And you have your output if you want to reuse this node in other graphs, but typically I don't use it unless I want to do something more complex. But in any case, I'm going to show you the steps I will do for the bridge. First, we need a spline, get a spline data. So here you will see that I have the actor filter. I can use here to all world actors, and by tag it will be the same as this. So bridge spawner will be my bridge. Oh, I cannot copy this. Oh, I just did. Okay, I just shared the live stream link. By the way, share it with your friends if you feel like this stuff is useful. So now I have my bridge spawner. I want to spawn something, so I will go and get spline, not spline, spline sampler. And I will go here, and instead of subdivision, I will put this on distance, and the distance will be, oh, what is the length of this thing? Sorry, I can just go here to control space, control B. If I hover over this, 508. So I will just put 500 just for now. And I will spawn static mesh spawner. I can just go here. And here I can put my array of meshes. So it will be number 3. And it will be number 1, sorry. Make sure number 1 is also the one that is kind of like the same length. Yeah, it is. Well, now that I have this, let's check here. Force region. Okay, get spline data, bridge spawner, get spline sampler. Oh, I think I need to make it larger. Let's see. Oh, because here the tag. Oh, the tag is fine. The tag is fine. Bridge spawner. It's the same as this one. Yes. Now you could put the projection too. So you can project those spline points into the landscape and see if this works for you. No, it doesn't. Oh, I know why it doesn't work. I didn't put the actor in the level. So what I will do is to go to my live stream, and here I have my PCG bridge. If I put it here, you will see that I have my bridge here. And it works really nice, actually. I didn't expect this. So let's go back here, and you can move some things. This. If you move it too much, then maybe you will have a different result. So just keep that in mind. But it's nice. So what can I do here? Well, I can just go here and put a Peeply bridge. And what I can do is rotate this. I can just put it here. Check the tag. Yeah, the tag is fine. Maybe force regen. That's strange. BP is flying too. That's very strange. I should be able to grab all the actors, which is what I'm telling here. I told you my dream worked like a charm. Force regen? It's not working. Maybe I need to move this thing here. That's strange. Excluded tags. Auto activate? Maybe that's the thing. Let's delete it and put it again. We should be able to use this several times. That's the thing of the procedural, right? So get the spline data, bridge spawner, spline sampler. And then static mesh spawner. Yeah, it is. It is nice. I don't know. I don't get what happened. But anyway, I can just duplicate this one. And yeah, it doesn't really update, which is weird. Like I told the blueprint that I want all actors. So I will just put it here. Maybe I need to put another one. No. Not really. Oh. Okay. Maybe I need to put... Is there a tag for unbound? Really? Don't know. Anyway, let's just work with the spline works. So I want some pillars here, and I want them on each, like each vertex of the segment. So I have a mesh here that I feel it can work. If I go to Megascans, go to 3D assets, static mesh, I feel like this one could work. Yeah, this one could work. So I will go here and make this like this size. Okay. Actually, this size should work fine. So what I will do is just to spawn this. So I will get the spline data and the spline sampler I will just copy. And this one will be on subdivision and it will be 0 here. So I get the spline data and then I can copy this and remove these meshes, and this time I will put this one. So let me just remove it. And let's take a look at how it works. Okay, so it's rotated in another direction. So what we will do is to put a transform here. Transform points. And let's make this one smaller. I think I haven't enabled that thing. Maybe I should, right? Otherwise, I don't know why it looks like this, but I didn't get the warning. So that rotation, I believe is in I don't know, maybe it's in X. No, it's not in X. It should be in Y. No, also not in Y. No, okay, it's in Y rotation. So let's go 90 degrees here, 90 degrees here. 180, sorry. What? Okay, let's check. Rotation minimum, 90. Okay, there you go, 90. Offset, we will offset this like 100. Not there. Yeah, maybe on C. Yeah, we will put minus 300. Sorry, not C. Minus 300. Minus 300. Minus 800. Minus 800. That's too much. Minus 500. Oh, what did I put? Minus 200. Okay. Getting close. Actually, it should be the same length as this one. So let me just move this here. If I check the length of this thing, where is it? There you go. If I check the length of this thing, it should be 324, half of it. Let's check. 324 divided by 2, 162. So it should be 162 minus 162. Yeah, more or less. So let's go for minus. Yeah, just like that. And I think you could scale this up, like scale min, scale max, like 2 and 2. Maybe 3 and 3. For some reason, it doesn't change. So now I change. So let's go back to 1. Oh, I had the uniform scale on, so let's remove this. So you don't want 3 on that. I think it's in y-axis. Yeah, it should be on y. Is it on y? No. Okay, it should be on x. Yeah, it's on x. And here we will put the offset minus 100. Minus 150, maybe? Much less. Minus 200. Minus 350. Yeah, something like that. Something like that. And I think I can duplicate another one just in case. So I will just put the static mesh spawner on the transform points. This one will be minus 200, minus 200. Okay. Yeah, minus 200, minus 200. And this one will be minus 400, I guess. Minus 400. No, minus 500. Okay, minus 700. Okay, almost there. Minus 800. Minus 800. Oh my god. 1000. Okay, almost there. Okay, almost there. Minus 190. Oh, there you go. Okay, so now that I have this, I can just duplicate those and put the same. But this time, I'm gonna put the y-axis 140 and 140. And this one will be 140 and 140. And there you go. Now we have a little bridge. So if I continue to add more and more stuff, I can just, and I guess I can add one at the end. It will make sense, right? But that's nice. Let me see what happens if I move this thing down. Okay, so you don't really want this in this case. So what you want to do, let's open this. Let's open the PCG. You want this one to be absolute. So I guess there is a, yeah, absolute offset. But in that case, if you move this thing here, sorry, not this one. I think the rotation should be absolute. Yeah, I think the rotation should be absolute here, not there. I can go here and absolute rotation, yes. And this will help a lot. Now you have these things floating here. Let's see if we can fix it. Now why this is happening is because, let's check. Force region. Oh my god, this never regions. I really hate it. If I go here, absolute offset, no. I really don't know what's wrong with this PCG. Is it because it's in beta or something? I really don't get it. You should be able, these things should be in the same position as this. You should. So yeah, they are in the same position. Nothing changed here. That's really strange. Why these things stay like that? And the other ones are fine. That's very strange. I can just rotate this like this. Okay, so it's a nice little experiment, but we want to put it on a place where, you know, it makes sense. So typically a bridge, where you can find a bridge, you can find it here. Oh my god. This is terrible. Let's put a spline here. And why the bridge spline 2 is not working, it's out of question. There you go. And put it like this. And you can change the spline points here if you want. It can work. So where is my other spline? There you go. And add a spline point here. If I want some, I don't know why this thing is happening here. Like it really should just. Oh, I see what happened. I offset here in the Z axis for this one, but not for this one. My bad. Right? It's not the one. It is the one. Okay, let's go here. Minus 140. Minus 200. Yes. Ah, the first one should be minus 200. Yes, that's correct. And the second one should be this one. But why it's on the why it's here? It used to work fine, right? I don't have any offset going on here. How about the rotation? The rotation, it's not the issue. Let me just delete this and create it again. Okay, so I will just put this thing here. Minus 40 and minus 40, 140. And then what you want is to put minus 800, for example. Minus 800. And why is it still like this? What about the other ones? And the other ones are fine. The other ones are really fine. It's just when I move this thing out, is that it happens. Which is really weird. I'm gonna give it one more try, and if not, just put it manually, really. It's not a big of a deal. But I really want this to work. Okay, so you get this spline data, all work actors, yes. Oh, there was another select multiple. Yes, this is what I want. Yes. Spline sampler, this is fine. This is fine. We don't need to change this. On this one, divisions per segment, 0, which is okay. The transform points, minus 100 here, minus 100 here, and what I will have is this, which is always fine. Let's go here. And this time I will put a 140 here and 140 here. Yeah. And now, if my memory don't fail me, if I go here and duplicate this one, I can go minus 500, minus 500. And why it's here? I didn't tell it to offset in the y-axis. I never said that. That's very strange. But the funny thing is that here it works. So I will just keep one. I'm just gonna solve it really simple. I'm just gonna change the scale of this. Sorry, not 3 here. Yeah, something like that. And then I'm just gonna put oh, what can I put here? I can put sorry, it's gone brain fart. Minus 400 maybe. Repeal. Yeah, much better. Oh, there you go. Now if I want to put another bridge spawner, you will have something like this. It's great. This is exactly what we want. There you go. You can have something here and just move it down. There you go. Nice. We can have bridges over bridges. So let's try to just put our bridge. Like let's think about our composition. What do you do here? Well, you know that your focal point is this. So how can you emphasize that? Well, you can have a bridge here, another bridge here, and maybe another bridge here. That makes sense. At least to me it makes sense. So let's do that. Let's put Ctrl+1 to save the position. So let's put a bridge spawner here. Let's go for the local coordinates. Just put this thing here. There you go. Another one here. You can go down, and every time I press Alt, I will get a support. And if I want the support here, I can just add the spline and I will have it. But for me it's too much, so I will just delete spline point. There you go. Okay. Now I have a bridge like this. Now, if you want to add more variation, you could put, I'm already putting 2 meshes here, which is great. Let's just try. Let's just play our game to see if it works. So I go from here, a little far, but let's check the collisions. Yeah, everything works nicely. I believe this one don't have collision. It doesn't, so I can just create a collision for that. And you can see that my character starts like jumping like this, up and down, up and down, up and down. And the reason is the collision is too precise. You don't want the collision to be extremely precise. So what you can do is to go back to our meshes. Let's just change each one of those. Remove the collision here, and here you will put a box. And a box should be more than enough for this kind of shape. Let's do the same here. Let's go for remove collision, put box. Now, if you have a shooter or something like that, you may want to put different types of collisions, so your bullets don't hit the air. For me, it's just more than enough. Just move this thing a little bit here. There you go. Something like that. Move it down. There you go. Now you have a nice transition. So I will put another collision to my mesh here. Just the same one. Go for box collision. That's all you need. And let's just say my player start is here. So let's put a player. Where's our player start? You have it here in the outliner. Player start. It's just here, so I will just move it here. There you go. Let's try again. For some reason I cannot move. There you go. I can go here. And I have my procedural breach. Very nice. I still have the same problems. Just if I check the collision here, you will see that I'm gonna check collisions with these things, with the procedural stuff. Player collision, yeah, I cannot check. Sadly, I cannot. But anyway, so we have our breach here. Let's play again, just to check the flow of the game. Like, making environments is nice, but if you can play with them, it's even nicer. So one thing about the level design here is that my breach is so long